Hello viewers, welcome to my video clipping on micro, small and medium enterprises. Of late, very recently I would say, that there has been a definitional change by the Government of India via its government notification. So with the help of this small video clipping, I would be taking you to a journey of the changes that this particular notification has incorporated in the MSME Act. So let's start with the presentation. So how we are going to go about this presentation is, first I would like to take the notification of the government. What does it mean? What does it say? Secondly, we will be discussing about the criteria on the basis of which classification will be made. That is whether it's going to be classified as micro, small or medium enterprises. Then we will actually see, I have made a table, a very functional table for you all to understand what are the criteria on the basis of which a particular unit will be classified. Then we will see the ceiling limits, how exactly the ceiling limits are going to be calculated, and then how we are going to aggregate it. How are we going to aggregate the uh, investment in plant and machinery, and what is the criteria that we are going to use. We will also see how this calculation criteria is applicable to existing units and to new units as well. Taking it further, we would then go on to find out the meaning of plant and machinery. What exactly do you mean by plant and machinery? And what are the guidance note for plant and machinery? And how exactly are you going to calculate the turnover of a particular unit? Because it is turnover and investments are both a part of the criteria. Okay. Having said that, let's quickly get into the thick of the matter. So the notification, the Government of India wide uh, Gazette notification 2119E dated on 26 2020 has notified a new criteria for classifying enterprises into micro, small and medium enterprises. So which means very clearly that whatever was the existing definition of MSME has been thrown out of the window, and new particular notification with the new criteria gives you the roadmap for classifying enterprises into MSME. The criteria will come into effect from 1st of July 2020. So that's pretty clear. Now, what is the criteria that we are talking about? This particular notification very clearly states that there is going to be a composite criteria. So, which means for the purpose of classification of MSME, two important criteria are going to be involved. One is the investment in plant and machinery or equipment. The other is the turnover of the enterprise. So both these criteria together would be employed to classify a particular unit. Okay. So here is a table which very clearly states, I mean, it's a very functional table which very clearly states how you can classify a particular enterprise as micro or small enterprises or medium enterprises. So if you can see my cursor, the first particular column gives you the classification. The second states the investment in plant and machinery and equipment. And the third is turnover of the enterprises. So for micro enterprises, the unit's investment in plant and machinery or equipment should not exceed 1 crore of rupees. At the same time, the turnover of that enterprise should not exceed 5 crores. For small enterprises, the investment in plant and machinery or equipment should not exceed 10 crores of rupees. Likewise, the turnover of the enterprise should not exceed 50 crores of rupees. For medium enterprises, the turnover should not exceed 250 crores, whereas the investment in plant and machinery or equipment should not exceed 50 crores of rupees. So, to take an example, let's say there is unit XYZ. The investment in plant and machinery is, let us say, less than 10 crores of rupees, and it is having a turnover of 30 crores of rupees. This would be classified as a small enterprise. Similarly, if there is a unit which has an investment in plant and machinery or an equipment, suppose it's a service related unit, so the investment in equipment will be much more important, isn't it? So where the investment in plant and machinery or equipment does not exceed 50 crore and does not exceed 250 crores. So let's take another example. Let's talk about a company ABC. Its investment in plant and machinery is about, say, 45 crores, and its turnover is about 100 crores. So you could very confidently classify that as medium enterprises. Now, a question will arise to you: what happens if one of these criteria are not fulfilled? Right? So that particular question we will take as we go forward. So the ceiling limit, what happens if one of these enterprises or one of these units crosses the ceiling limit? Now, there can be two things that can happen. Either the unit crosses the ceiling limit or it goes below the ceiling limit. Those are the two possibilities, right? So let's see what happens if an enterprise crosses the limit. So the notification very clearly says that if an enterprise crosses the ceiling limits specified for its present category in either of the two criteria of investment or turnover, it will cease to exist in that category and be placed in the next higher category. So I'll go back and I will tell you, let us take an example uh, of a unit. Let us say there is XYZ. Currently, it has got an investment in plant and machinery at 9 crores, and its turnover is, say, 45 crores. And during the year, the investment in plant and machinery increases and it becomes 12 crores. So definitely the ceiling is breached, right? If the ceiling is breached, then this small enterprises would fall into the next higher category. So that means it would be classified as a medium enterprises. Let me take another example. Let's say there is a company, there is a unit called, let us say, PQR. And PQR has got an investment in plant and machinery at, say, 80 lakhs of rupees and has a turnover of 3.5 crores. And during the year, the company has gone ahead with expansion and it has invested in plant and machinery. And from 80 lakhs, it becomes 3 crores of rupees. Whereas the turnover continues to be, let us say, at 4.5 crores only, or it increases to, say, 4.5 crores. Now here, in one of these criteria, it has breached the ceiling limit, and therefore it will be classified in the next higher category. Therefore, that particular PQR will become a small enterprise. But what happens if the enterprise, the investment or the turnover reduces? Then what will happen? So let's see what does the notification say. It says that no enterprise shall be placed in a lower category unless it goes below the ceiling limit specified in the present category in both the criteria in investment as well as turnover. So what does it mean? So let me go back to my earlier table and let me specify. Let us say there is another unit XYZ which currently has got an investment of say 15 crores of rupees in plant and machinery and has a turnover of say 60 crores. Okay, so definitely it has been classified as a medium enterprise. Now, for some reason, the investment in plant and machinery has now gone down and it has come to 8 crores, right? But the turnover continues to be 55 crores, in which case it will not go down. It will not be classified as micro enterprises, no. So what it means is there should be a change in both the criteria. So let's take another example. Let's take, there is a medium enterprise which has got, let us say, plant and machinery investment of uh, say 15 crores of rupees, and it has got a turnover of say 80 crores of rupees. Now for this enterprise, medium enterprise, to be classified as small enterprise, there should be a shift both in investment as well as in turnover, which means the investment in plant and machinery should go down to below 10 crores. At the same time, the turnover must also go down to below 50 crores for it to be classified, right? So having said that, let's quickly move on to the other important thing. How exactly are you going to treat an enterprise? How would you classify an enterprise as a unit? Supposing there are two units of the same owner, how are you going to do that? So it very clearly says that all units with GSTIN listed against the same PAN number, permanent account number. So there could be at least 2 or 3 GSTINs which could be mapped to a particular permanent account number, in which case all the three could be collectively treated as one enterprise if there are 3 GSTNs which is mapped to a particular PAN. If there are 2, it is going to be 2. If there is 1, there is going to be 1. So once you map, and then the investment figure and the turnover figure of all these units of different GSTINs but mapped to a single PAN number would be aggregated, and then the entities would be seen together, and only the aggregate values will be considered for deciding classification. So supposing there is unit A, it has got a separate GSTIN, but it belongs to a particular owner. Unit B has got a different GSTIN, belongs to the same owner. Another unit C has a separate GSTIN, it belongs to a separate owner. It also belongs to the same owner, and all these GSTINs have a single PAN number. And let us say each of these have got their investment in plant and machinery and their individual turnovers. So if you are going to classify this into whether it's a small enterprise or a micro enterprise or a medium enterprise, what are you going to do? You are going to aggregate the investment of all these 3 units of A, B, and C. You will also aggregate the turnover of all these 3 units A, B, and C, and then look at the particular table that I have given you and then classify that accordingly. I think I have been able to sufficiently clear I have clarified this particular point. Okay, let's go further. Now there could be, it's quite possible that there could be an existing unit or there could be a new enterprise, right? So when we are going to talk about investment in, let's say, plant and machinery or equipment, or how are you going to know what is the true figure for investment? So it's very simple. It says that whatever figures are there for existing unit, it is linked to your income tax returns of the previous year, filed under Income Tax Act 1961. So if a unit claims that my investment in plant and machinery is 13 crores of rupees, is it shown accordingly in the income tax returns? That is the question. If you say your turnover is 45 crores, does your income tax return show that? That is the question, and that is going to be the uh, figure on the basis of which classification would take place. Now, this is for the existing units. What happens when we are talking about a new enterprise? There also, it's very, very clear. The MSME Act and the notification very clearly says that where no prior ITR is available, self-declaration of the promoter of the enterprises is more than sufficient. But that is possible only for the first year. The validity of the self-declaration will end after the 31st March of the financial year in which it files returns. Important. So quite possibly after 2 or 3 or 4 years, whichever year it files its ITR, that would be the basic documents on the basis of which the calculation of the criteria would come into effect. Okay, let's go further. So first, let us understand what is the meaning of plant and machinery. What would you define as plant and machinery? So the notification is very, very clear. It says it has the same meaning as assigned to plant and machinery in the IT rules 1962. And it shall include all tangible assets other than land and buildings, furniture and fittings. So if you want to get details of what plant and machinery is, all you have to do is refer to IT rules 1962. There is a list of whole lot of tangible assets, and these will be classified as plant and machinery. That is with regard to the classification, whether it comes into plant and machinery or not. But what about the value? What about the amount? The purchase value, whether it is new or a second hand, will be excluding the GST on self-disclosure ITR. Now, there are certain items also specified in the explanation in subsection 1 of section 7 of MSME Act. They shall all be excluded for the purpose of calculation of the amount of investment in plant and machinery. So plant and machinery, if you want to know, just look into the ITR. If it is a new unit, there will be no GST included in that. That means it will be excluding GST. Okay. And there are many items which is specified in MSME Act, which has got to be excluded for the purpose of calculation of the investment of plant and machinery. Okay. So let's go further and see calculation of turnover. What do you mean by a turnover? Now, importantly, you must note that export of goods or services or both shall be excluded for the purposes of turnover. So which means a, a unit which is into export of goods and services are definitely at an advantage when it comes to the criteria of turnover. Now, how are we going to get the information of turnover and export turnover? The information of turnover, that is the total turnover or the consolidated turnover of a unit, and the export turnover will be linked to ITR or CGST and GSTIN. So all these figures are readily available. It's a document which a company, a unit produces, and all that is necessary is, if you refer to this, you will be able to classify a particular unit as a small or medium or a micro unit. Now, this also brings us to another important point. What happens to enterprises without PAN? Now, again, here, the act is very, very clear. It says that the turnover will be considered on a self declaration basis for a period up to March 31st, 2021. So, I think the next year, next March 30, 2021, your turnover will be considered on self declaration basis, and thereafter GSTIN and PAN is compulsory. I'm sure that you all must have understood what exactly this notification is. I'm sure that I must have clarified it beyond doubt. Uh, I hope you have enjoyed uh, listening to my video as much as I enjoyed making this particular video. So thank you so much. I'll be bringing you another video of another important topic. Till then, if anyone wants to get in touch with me, you're most welcome to write to me, or if you want any particular video which requires explanation or any particular topic wherein I can be of help in producing a video, please do let me know. Thank you so much.